Okay, we're going to be learning. I think we've learned this the lovely Maamarim of Parshas Vayechi connected to the blessings. Most of the Maamarim are connected to the blessings connected to Yehuda. Let's bring up the page. Okay. So this one included, these are blessings that Yaakov gave. So Yaakov blesses his sons before he passes away. And again, Yehuda, which is the David HaMelech, and the Jews mainly come today from Yehuda. So my Marim are connected to Yehuda. So this is a blessing to Yehuda, and a lot of them are connected also to the Mashiach. So here it says about Yehuda, hey Sharna, it says, Chachli einai miyoyin. So my eyes have been reddened with wine, and my teeth have been whitened with milk. So this is a pasuk that's regarding Yaakov Avinu's blessing to Yehuda. So we have the effect of the wine and the effect of the milk. So he says like this: Hinegabe yain chsiv. With regard to wine, it says Tiroshi, which is the tirosh is the wine, Hamsameach, which makes happy, Elokim, man, a God. Love and Ma'u b'chinas yain Hamsameach Elokim. What does it mean that wine makes, so to say, God happy or godliness happy? How could wine be so powerful, so to say, to cause happiness and joy by Hashem? Is in Amru, so we know that it says that it's brought down from Chazal that Nichnas yain yatzasad, that when a person consumes wine, the secrets come out. And this is also in so to say in a holy way, that it says like this. So I'm gonna see who this Michael is, and if it's not, I have to take him off. All right. So it says the idea is yesh beis bechinos. There's two levels of, so to say, of liquids that we consume. Is yayin, wine, and chalav, milk. Like it says, the chu shivru ve'echol. Shivru means like to go sustain yourself and eat. B'loi kesef b'loi mechir, without money or price, so to say. Yayin v'chalav, wine and milk. So what is the difference between the wine and the milk? So first the Rebbe is going to go on to explain the concept of the wine. And from there we're going to go into the concept of what is the milk. Ubir HaDavid, the idea is like this. Kihine, Barbara, you raised your hand?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know Michael sent you a text message, a chat message about can he listen without using his webcam.
Yes, that's fine. Okay. As long as everyone, this is we keep everything in an appropriate way, that's fine. So it says like this: Kihine yesh beis avos. There's two types of love: avos olam, v'ava rabba. There's the love, what's called avos olam, the love of the world, and the great love. Now, olam it has two translations. You know, we have in davening avos olam, and avos olam means is love of the world, means love connected to the world, which we'll see what that means. And there's also the idea of avos olam. From olam is also used for like an everlasting. So an everlasting love, you could translate from the word olam, everlasting, like the world is everlasting, seemingly. And the idea of avos olam, ava, love that comes from the world. And then there's the ava rabba, the abundant, the great love. So avos olam, he avos hageluya. When we say ava olam, the ava of the world, it means a revealed love. The ava rabba, he ava musateris. And the great love is a hidden love. We understand the difference, what this means. Why is the hidden love called the great love? I mean, what's it mean, a hidden? First of all, we have to say what does it mean, hidden love? What's the definition of hidden love? Where does it come from? And why is that one? And why is the great love hidden? And what is the idea that the revealed love is the love of the world? So the Rebbe explains. When we say avos olam, so in this case, we're not translating it to mean an everlasting love specifically, but an ava, a love that comes from the world. What does it mean, an ava that comes from the world? The hainu, meaning to say, Meaning to say that when a person analyzes the world, his boinus, you contemplate, and you realize from his boinus, from contemplation, looking around you, like Avram Avinu looked around, and you see Mechadish B'Tuvei, how God, recognizing how God is the creator and keeps the world in creation with all its details, like we say, Ma Rabba Masach Hashem, Ma Gadlu Masach Hashem, looking at God's great work within creation. So the foundation for the love and the, so to say, the expression, the feelings that you get is from looking at God, what God has done or is doing. It's not just something that was done once, but constantly the world has to go into creation. It means if God for a second, so to say, pulls the plug on the energy of creation, the world ceases to exist, as if it never happened. And in all this, where does it come from? Knowing when a person contemplates and realizes this is not that God's essence is expressed in creation, and then through creation you know God's essence, you know God's essence. But this is only coming from God's kingship, like a king who is a king over people, over a nation. There's so much more to the personality of the king than the fact that the king is the ruler or the king over his subjects or her subjects. So the idea of creation only comes from God's malchus. Because God's kingship is king over creations, and you realize that as great the world is and as impressive, so to say, godliness is in its creation. This only comes from the malchus of Hashem. That you recognize that all the worlds, from the higher worlds to the lower worlds, number one is that their existence comes from Hashem, and the level of godliness, so to say, that keeps it in existence is only God's malchus. Whether Hashem fills the world, like to say, so to say, with the nature, and the encompassing energy outside, so to say, the makif, the encompassing energy that keeps the world from an outside, that's a higher level of godliness. And God gives life to everything, all creation. And when a person continues to analyze that the way God keeps life into the world is not even how a soul gives life to a body. As soon as the soul departs the body is lifeless. So the soul gives life to the body, but the way Hashem keeps the world in existence is unlike the soul gives, is only a little bit we could compare, but essentially, it's much deeper than that. Because when in the case of the soul and the body, the soul has to become one, so to say, and it has to be mislabish, it has to totally enclose itself within the body to give it life. And then, so a second part of the analyzation is that although God is giving life, it's unlike the neshama, because God still remains separate from the world, although He's keeping it in an existence through the vitality of the godliness. But it doesn't become, so to say, enclosed, where God is, so to say, now affected by creation. That's what we say, God doesn't change. It's only the name that gives life. Again, this is all building up to try to appreciate, understand Hashem, and through this, God gave His name to creation. Like it says, we praise your name, La'ad, forever. Pirish La'ad, Ad in Kates, that just the name gives vitality. This is what we say, and this is very much one of the reasons I picked this Maamar was because, kind of a continuation of what we learned last night in the laws of prayer, that we say, Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach La'olam L'Ol Me'amaya Yisbarach, that when we say the Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba in the Kaddish, Pirish, this means Shanu Mispalalim, Umevakshim, and requesting, we're praying and asking, Shehei Shem Zev V'chinas Bracha, that the name that gives vitality to the world should be bracha, means to come down. That it should be revealed, so to say, the name of God within creation, because it could be concealed. And we want it to be revealed. We don't want that the world should not see, and we should not see the godliness in the world and think that the world is, so to say, exists on its own. And not just that we don't know God exists, but we're not appreciating the existence of God. When it says means a person just kind of mechanically knows about the existence of God. But we want to be in a awe constantly of the creation, not to get used to it, so to say. Because when you get used to it, just acknowledging the difference between haida, acknowledgement, and bracha, is acknowledgement we know God's existence. Okay, a person is not going to deny that there's a God that created the world. But the bracha is to feel it. And we're asking God, we should feel the godliness. We shouldn't just be in a level of mechanical acknowledgement, yes, there's a God. When we talk about bracha, it means it should be revealed in our minds, in our hearts, in a true way. And it should be consistent within us. And even within the lower worlds, like this this physical world. That the God of Israel is in all the worlds. I mean, that we're asking Hashem that we want to be conscious and be feeling the godliness constantly. But what's bringing us to this recognition, and we're going to call this now the Ava, the love, is the love based on when we look around us. It means the case. It's a totally we're going to see this is totally different than the Ava Rabbah, the great love. It means when you have something, that's one thing, and then you say something's greater. It's not like it's greater in a way that built on this, there's something greater. It's a totally different type of love. The love of Avos Olam is that you see things around you. It's basically, at the end of the day, it comes down to Yesh Mishayev, someone who loves. Because you're someone, and you live in this world. Your life is in this world. Your things that you've spent your time are in this world. You're building a family. Your relationships are in this world. And when you and recognizing Hashem's keeping this world in existence, creating, and you want it to be revealed consciously. So it's all about how your reality is affected by Hashem. So you're the center of the conversation here, and you're the center of the conversation. You vis-a-vis Hashem. So that's Avos Olam, because that's your world. And of course you're able to go past your own space, but the foundation, the dot, so to say, is around you. And then you know that you're a small part of this world. So you build much greater worlds and greater worlds and greater worlds. But the starting point is where you have to recognize something. And for you to recognize something, it has to be your reality. And therefore we say, this is all the prayers that we have. This is what we're learning about in Halacha, that we start with the prayers in the morning, before the Shema, the prayers of the praise. We say Baruch Shamar until we reach to the Kriya Shema. And what we're doing in these prayers are, and then continuing it in the blessings before the Shema, is to expand and to broaden in our praising of Hashem. Fundamentally coming down to the point of God is the King and Creator and the vitality of the worlds. And with that, we're also recognizing how God is not, this is not, so to say, that you're not holding God because you see His creation, but God Himself is really separate from the world. This is only coming from Malchus. So there's two parts here. One is the appreciation of creation, but also recognizing that the power of creation is only God's kingship, but the essence of God is Kadosh Umuvdal, separate. So there's something so much greater than what than your reality. And through the davening, it's supposed to reach until it becomes nikfa, becomes established deep in the person, the relationship of you and Hashem, relationship of Hashem and the world, and understanding that this is just a manifestation of God's kingship, but there's so much greater, so much deeper, that's beyond creation. But this all comes from His boinus, starting from Olam. There's a starting point. So then when you say the Shema, after having all this boinus, you say Shema Yisrael, listen. Shema means havana, pay attention, not just listen to the words, but to do the hisboinus, to contemplate, to recognize. Shema Lashon Havana means to understand. Lihisboinin, to contemplate. Hashem Echad, God is one. What does it mean, one? Pirush Echad, Zayin Rikiyim Ve'oretz, is the seven heavens and earth, V'dad Ruchas Ha'olam, the four sides of creation, are all B'Telem Ala Aleph, all nullified to the oneness of God. Alufay Shalaylam, the King. And just like you can see, physically there's different layers and levels within creation, so too spiritually. And you recognize how whatever you see, the greater something you see, and how the greatness of what we're looking at. You look at a great mountain, you look at the sun, and how the sun is constantly bowing to God. And all these great creations are totally nullified to the Creator. And the idea is that through the Hashem Echad, that we bring down, that the Dalit is to bring in, that all this is again just the kingship of Hashem, not to say, so to say, the essence of God. And and this should bring the person to loving Hashem. But this is Hashem Leikecha, Hashem your God, because He's your vitality. Basically, that's called Avos Olam. So what does the Avon this mean over here? There's a ratzin, a will, a want. And therefore, because you recognize that whatever you see around you is God's creation, and the creation comes from, so to say, the Malchus of Hashem, but there's the essence of God is so much greater than that. So the ratzin, what is it that the love is? The love is the want. And what is the want? That Hashem should be, you should feel Hashem in your entire heart, everywhere in your heart. That should be what you love. Not just that you, and what you want is, not just that you're Yetzer Tov, your good inclination, your Nefesh Alikis, your godly soul, but you want that your animal soul, the part that's connected to Gashmias, to worldly things, the one that thrives on worldly things, that the Yetzer Hara also should only love Hashem. Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara. This and how do you do that? You have to transform the darkness, that the natural want of the animal within you, the Yetzer Hara within you, that wants worldly things, doesn't kill it. That you stop eating, you stop doing the things that keep the body alive. But recognizing that while it's alive, it's all about serving Hashem, and that transforms the want of the Nefesh Bahamas of the Yetzer Hara. Shi'akir Ritzaynai. And what does this mean? That you should uproot the wants that so to say the Yetzer Hara naturally has. We have the oilam for the stupidity, for the shtusim, so to say, for the wastefulness of worldly things, worldly achievements, kavod, honor. Look what I've done. To find deeper focus connected to godliness and creation and purpose of creation. The idea is that this love means to change. What do I want? What matters to me? What's my agenda? That my only want is for Hashem. Like it says, Mili b'shamayim, v'im chalech v'atzi b'aretz. I don't want anything but Hashem. Whether it's in heaven, whether it's b'aretz, lechafatzli, all I want is God. So this is what the Avos Olam, the love that brings up until the person recognizes that when you're looking at the world, but you could look at it from a different pair of lenses, to see it as God's creation with a purpose. So you don't want to be just living in God's world. You want to be living with the will and the purpose of God's of creation. And therefore you want that not just your Yetzer Tov, but Yetzer Hara, your entire being should be consumed only with connecting to Hashem and the Creator. And the Alter Rebbe says, V'hinei kol zeh, everything described in this point is called Avos Olam. It's called the love of the world. Like we say, Avos Olam Aftanu, that a love created by the world, that we love God. It's ahaftanu, we love God, but this love is, so to say, you're dressing yourself with this love. I mean, it enclothes you. It's coming from outside of you, and you're connecting to this idea. And the love could be, it's something that, because it's built on a zboinenus, it, by definition, you have to be able to enclose it. You have to be able to hold it. You have to be a vessel for it, because it's the whole point is that you're connecting to an idea. So the idea is something that you have to be able to take in. So therefore, you are kli lahagbil. So you limit it to how much you can handle, and therefore you enclose this love inside you. And you should be constantly aware and connected to this love. So like I said, it's not like, so what's deeper than that? There's no deeper than that. If you can have a deeper love, it's just going to be your deeper keli and understanding it more and more. The Avarab is a totally different love. That's Avos Olam. That's the love of the world. But Avarab, what's the Av of the great love? It's not about creation. It's about who you are. It's your shorish nefesh. It's the root of your soul. In the place where you come into, so to say, into existence, is your connection to God. And the love is not about what God's done, not how God is not affected by creation, and how you want your reality to be in line with God's reality. It's who you are. The Avarabba b'shorish nefesh b'makar chaytzvah comes who you are. Ki chelek havaya mamash amoy. The Jewish people are mamash, a portion of Hashem, like it says in Hazinu. And you're connected to the Hashem that doesn't change, that's beyond even the need for creation. God is beyond, not just that he doesn't enclose himself in creation, but that the world doesn't define God. There never had to be a world. He's higher than the whole concept of creation. And the essence of God is machlal, no connection at all. Not even like a drop of water to the ocean. Because a drop of the ocean, even if it's a small drop, which is thousands of millions of billions of times of the actual size of the sea, nevertheless, it's a number. At the end of the day, fundamentally, there's a connection between the ocean and the drop. Because at the end of the day, the drop of water is water just like all the water in the sea. But God, the essence of God, there's no connection to creation. It's not that God's above creation. Creation has nothing to do with the essence of God. And that's what's rooted in the person. So when the love that you're getting from here has nothing to do with creation, nothing to do with how God's great creation, God's great handiwork, the abilities to create all the details of the world. My life in this world, it's not about your existence, meaning to say your reality. It's about your essence. That your essence is connected to the essence of God. Beyond has no connection to creation. And that's the foundation for this love. It's not based on a reasoning. The hisbonenus is not to create the love. The hisbonenus, the contemplation, is to reveal the love. That's why it's called Avodas Misuteres. It's called the hidden love because it's there. You just have to reveal it. It's not based on any reason. It's because that's who you are. It can't really enclose itself within you. You can't get a grasp on it because it's so deep rooted within you. You can't really understand it because it's so essential to who you are. The soul can't limit it. Can't put it in a box and kind of see it from all angles. It's so deeply hidden within the person. And the way to reveal it is just to go out of yourself, not to create larger vessels within yourself, but to totally lose who you are. The kloisa nefesh is the avarab is a totally different type of love. That's what I'm saying. It's not going deeper into the avos olam. It's totally different. It's coming from a totally different place, actually an opposite place. The difference between the love that comes from the world and the great love. At the end of the day, what is the difference of how once that love is functioning within you? So we understand that there's a different type of love. The love that comes from the world and the love that's your essence. So, but what in avoda, meaning how does it affect your day to day? So he says, there's because he avos olam, the love of the world. At the end of the day, what created it? You needed to create it. You needed to do his bindiness. You needed to contemplate, look around you, pay attention, get out of your own way to recognize the greatness of God and say that I have a want, right? There's one thing over here that we said in avos olam, that you have a ratzon. It's based on I have a want. But the idea of avos olam is that my want should be godliness. Like I said, yesh mi she'ayev, someone who loves. So it's all about, at the end of the day, it comes back to you. My ratzon should be the ratzon of Hashem. My ratzon should be filled with godliness. But it's I want. So therefore, and you have to build it. So you have his bindiness, you have contemplation, and you pay attention. But then yesh hefsek, but it stops. What does it mean it stops? You have to constantly be paying attention because you created it based on contemplation. And if you stop thinking about it, like you stop thinking about anything for a second, you could stop thinking about pain, right? Say, don't think about it. Because you stop thinking about the pain, so then hopefully you won't feel it. So if you stop thinking about the love, you won't feel it. Not because the argument changed, but because it was only built on a concentration, on paying attention, on his mindedness. So if you stop thinking about it, so the love starts to dry up a bit. If you start paying attention to other things, and it happens, right? You have other things that you have to pay attention to. You can't sit a whole day thinking about Hashem like you're thinking in davening. You go to work. So the love isn't as strong. It starts to go away because it's built on concentration. And if you're concentrating on something else, you're no longer concentrating on the love, and the love is built on you having his pointers, paying attention, and recognizing this. So when you don't recognize something, it's not that the argument changed, just your focus has changed. But when you reveal the great love, it wasn't built on something that you concentrated on, you responded. You revealed something that you are. Once you reveal something, it doesn't need the fuel of your respondiness, of your contemplation, of your concentration, of your attention to continue to fuel the love. You just have to get rid of whatever was blocking the revelation of your essence. And once the essence is revealed, it doesn't mean you stop doing things. But while you're doing things, you're still feeling the love because you've already revealed the essence of who you are. The love comes from your essence, from your shoresh, from your root. And the hefsek has no end. This doesn't stop when you stop because it's not built on concentration. You had to work to reveal it. That's the work. The avarab has to be worked on, and we're going to learn whether it's worked on your own or a gift from heaven. A lot of times the idea of the avarab, it's a gift of heaven, the gift of the love of the tzaddik. Not that the non-tzaddik the non-righteous person doesn't have the love, but it's just concealed. But whether you've worked on it to reveal it or you've been gifted it, but once it's revealed, it has no hefsek, it has no separation. Even if you were to do other things, you're paying attention to other things, and you have to. If you have a job, you have an obligation to pay attention to what you're doing in your job. There's nothing that could counter once that love reveals itself, because it's not built on an idea. It's built on what is. And your essence, your is that you're a part of God. There can be nothing that to counter. Because when you want something, when you have this abundance for godliness, and you realize this is what I want, this is my ratzon, like my ratzon, my want should only be about Hashem. But when you start going out to the world and you say, I want something else also. I want a nice car, I want a nice house. Not saying bad, they're not bad things, but all of a sudden your want changes, and that's normal. But your love is based on a want. But if your love is based on revealing the essence, it's not based on a want. It's not based on a ratzon. The ratzon is there because that's who you are. And therefore, there's nothing that could tire it out or could stop it. And he says this love will have, he calls it a rishimo. Rishimo means like an imprint. Because at the end of the day, your focus may not be there, but it's there. Because it wasn't built on an idea, it was built on what is. So even if you're focusing on something else, the rishimoy, the imprint that's who you are is going to always remain. Timat la'olam vadi says forever. And he says, so the question is, how do you reveal this? How do we reveal the avarabba, the great love? How could a person reveal if the love is there and it's covered? Now, in the other Maamar, we talk about this. We didn't learn this Maamar last week, but the Maamar is that there's the argument which one's greater, the love that you create or the love that's already there. But the point is that even the love that's already there, although it's the avrab, the great love, but it's concealed. So you may not have created it, but you have to work on yourself to reveal it. So he says, how do you reveal this love? If it's essential, but it's concealed. So he says, this is what it means. If we started the Maamar, that when you take in wine, the secret comes out. The secret is, or the foundation, the essence of who you are in Torah. What is the remedy, the medicine? And that's why we talk about It says the person who's La'ilam Yilma Torah L'Shloi L'Shma, you should always learn Torah, even if it's not for the right reasons, because Hama'or Sheba Yimach Shalamutav. There's the concept that the Ma'or, there's the essence of Torah, the light that's in Torah, the luminary that's in Torah. What does it mean Yach Shalamutav will bring the person back? Because Torah is not just an idea. Torah is the essence, is the remedy that reveals the essence of the person. That's why it says, Nichnas Yain, what's the Yain? He had Torah, that's the Torah. Shnikra B'Shem Yain, that one of the names we give to Torah is Yain. Torah has many names. Is Mayim, is water, Shem, and oil. In this case, we're talking about the idea of the Yain of Torah. We see that there's a concept that it's sweet to me, the words of the rabbis, more of the Yain of Torah. So we see Torah is called Yain. This love that God has, that's in the essence of every Jew. It says, God saw this light, the light of the Ava, Rabba, the great love. He saw it's good. What does it mean? Ki tov, it's good. Lignois b'Torah. The remedy, the ability to reveal the love within you is because the love was hidden in Torah. And when you connect the Torah to your soul, that will start revealing the great love. And when the yayin element of Torah goes into the person, yatsa sod, then automatically the sod, your foundation, your secret, what's hidden within you will be revealed. Torah Or is the hidden love. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be a rational reason. It's not because this specific law or this specific idea triggered a love. It's the yayin of Torah. Just like yayin brings out the secrets, the yayin, the wine of Torah, brings out the secrets that's inside you already. Umihelam alagili, it takes what's concealed to be revealed. Now it allows for this great love to be revealed, which is already mushreshes b'sharish nafshay. It's already rooted. The wine doesn't root it in. The wine brings out what's been rooted inside you, who you are. And brings the ability for you to love Hashem with all your might, because it's the essence of who you are. It's not built on a reason. There's no foundation. There's no argument about it. And so sometimes it's revealed in crucial moments in a person's life, in moments of Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice. The years and the times over and over again where the Jewish people were faced with a person who could have never been a God-fearing Jew or a Torah mitzvahs observant Jew, but when asked who you are you Jewish, are you ready to convert out? They'll die for God. It's not just because it's an idea. It's because it's who you are. The essence is revealed. So that's revealed in a harsh way or in a shock way through Mesiras Nefesh. But in day-to-day is the idea of nichnas yain yotzesod. Throughout the day, without, so to say, the pressure of Mesiras Nefesh, you could reveal it by putting in the code of Torah. The yain of Torah, the wine of Torah is going to reveal the essence of who you are. That's what he's saying in the verse in Ashrei Pesach es yadecha, open your hands. So the word yadecha could also mean yudiyecha, expand your yud. The yud is like the smallest letter of the alphabet, the small dot, like that dot that's inside you. We call it, known in the terminology, the pintele yid, right? The essence of the Jew. So we say, open that yud. Don't let it remain just to be as a tiny dot within inside me. That the way the world comes into creation is that it has to be concentrated into the yud. And the source of creation for something from nothing, from God's will. So in order for it to be creation, we have Yud Kei Vav Kei. Yud Kei Vav Kei is Hashem's name, the creator, the Mahava, the creator. In order for there to be a creator, so to say, the greatness of God has to be concentrated within the Yud. So it's concealed. And from that could come, so to say, the creation. So we say, open that Yud that had to be concentrated to conceal godliness. And the Yud within me should be revealed, and I shouldn't have to hide who I am, so to say. There's no concealment of who I am. That the great desire of Hashem is revealed within me. And and let it satisfy every living person. Let the godliness, the life force in creation, reveal the essence, the true want of creation. That the want of Hashem, not my want, but the want of Hashem should be revealed within creation. And that's where my essence comes from. When it came to God's thinking, so to say, to create the world. That the want that God has, that is the essence of every person, should be revealed. So open the Yud up. And this is the great love. It's there. It's so concealed that it becomes a Yud, a little dot within inside you. We ask God, open it up, and give everyone rotzen. Let me be revealed the want that Hashem has within me, and the want I have for Hashem, the essential want. Not because of a reason. And when this is revealed, it's much greater than, so to say, that your conscious soul could handle. It's not based on an idea or a built-up argument. Because when you reveal the want of Hashem, that's really with connected to you and who you are, it becomes your reality in everything you do, in your speech and your action. Through talking Torah and doing mitzvahs, then it becomes, the Yud consumes you, the essence of your art consumes you. It's revealed to you, who you are. You become a living being of your shorish, of your root. And therefore they ask a person, when a person comes to heaven, what's the question they ask him? It says, Kavati itul Torah. Did you make established times to study Torah? What the Alter Rebbe is saying is what they're asking you in heaven is not so much the studying of the Torah as much as the results of the studying of the Torah. If you establish times to study Torah, that means that you were able to start revealing your Yud, opening up who you are. And the root of your soul should be revealed. That should no longer be concealed. And there's nothing like it. And if you had kaviyas itul in the Torah, if you had set times for Torah, that means that you worked on revealing and taking off any kind of concealments of the essence of your soul. Because like we said, nichnas yain, when you bring in the wine of Torah, it's nichnas yotzes soda, brings out the essence of who you are. And then we know, so to say, heaven knows that your love was revealed within you. And it had no end, so to say. And then even if you were out there in other times, while you were not studying Torah, we know that you had this love wedged within you. And then you speak the Torah, it goes in a circle. You go back to the Torah that reveals the love, and the Torah reveals the love, and you can stay conscious with it. It's constantly within that becomes your reality. And he continues, and this is understood, the blessing that Yaakov gives to Yehuda. That my eyes were reddened with wine, the wine of Torah. What does it mean that my eyes? So we know what the wine is. The wine reveals the essence of your soul. What does it mean my eyes were reddened with the wine? So the wine caused that your soul should come out. So the idea that it says in Tehillim that my eyes are always towards God. That's that constant awareness of your essence. Like it says, God's eyes are towards those who fear Him. To look at the King. It's like a person who has this great love for something, and you're looking at it. So too, the great love is revealed within you. You see it; it's actually in front of you. It's like a love of pleasure. And he says this is even greater than Torah Or. So we're kind of tapping on a third level of love, the love of pleasure beyond even the Avarabba. The Avarabba is the love that you reveal the soul, but then the love of your soul becomes so revealed within you that it becomes a love of pleasure. That's something you can't take your eyes off. Like it says, the eyes of the dove. Just like a pair of doves. That just look at each other. And take pleasure at looking at each other. So too, you could reveal this great love that's inside you to the extent that so nifla v'otzim is so great and awesome. All you want to do is just look at the greatness of the King, like something you love so much, because it is something that you love so much. The moitim is, when he says that I'm aflamed from like moitam mizbeach with the great love, the flame of the love. That the love should be so burnt up and so powerful within the person. This anagal Hashem reva kol, that's the only thing you take pleasure in. You can't even take it in, all you can do is look at it. It's something so great, all you can do is look at it constantly. This is what it means, the redness of the eyes. The redness of the eyes, is an expression of the great fire. The flame that's built inside you. And this comes at a sea, it comes at its highest point, so to say, on the Shabbos, which Shabbos is the time of pleasure, where the person's pashut, red eyes of love and desire for Hashem. But you can't just walk into Shabbos. You have to work to get to Shabbos. You have to toil on Friday to get to Shabbos. To have, meaning to say, what he's saying is the culmination of this, the seed, the greatness of the love of desire comes from the love of the great love that you reveal throughout the week by learning Torah constantly, bringing in moments of Torah, kaviyas in the Torah, to make your reality a reality of revealing the great love that even while you're out there during the week, and sometimes you have to spend 9-10 hours a day in your job, but it's never separating you from your love for Hashem. And then when Shabbos comes and kind of there's that rest, it all comes to its highest point, the idea of the Av of Tanugim, the Av of the love, where you're just standing there like the person who just looks at something, like the two doves who look at each other. And also working on yourself with this bonus. And then you could come to the highest point of the love of pleasure that's revealed in Shabbos with all the avodah that you have to do. You have to, because it's not saying, the idea is not just to only have the avarabah, because you have to have also the avos olam. You have to look around the world. You have to have both avos olam and avarabah. And then Shabbos comes the av b'tanug, and the love of the pleasure, like the person who's just red-eyed looking at something that one loves. And he calls that b'chinas madregas yain. But this all comes down to the point of the yain, of the wine, which is called yain shel Torah. Like we said, the wine of the Torah is the code to start revealing the inner, the great love that could build up to the love of pleasure. It's like a pleasurable thing. When you taste something, say it's for me. It's a yain, you taste the fine wine. In the studying of Torah and the mitzvahs. Which is God's pleasure in creation. And the idea is that the pleasure of the taste of the wine becomes that Torah mitzvahs through that. That's your pleasure. Your pleasure is the great love in connecting to the God's desire within Torah mitzvahs. Let's skip the parentheses. So that's Yaakov's blessing to Yehuda on behalf of the Jewish people of Klal Yisrael. That to be able to reveal through Avos Olam, the love of the world, and the Avarabah, the great love, and to bring all the way to the love of Av B'Tarnugim. Like the two doves, all you can do is look at something, and your eyes are red, looking at something that you have such a passion for. What's the idea? Uleven shinai mechalav, that your teeth become whitened by milk. So he says, Ki Pirish, the idea is, Ki shinayim, what is the job of the teeth of a person? Hema techanes is a meichel, it has to chew the food. Break down the food. So it could properly be digested in the stomach, right? Only then, if you properly chew the food, does it become a proper substance to the body. If you're going to swallow the food whole, it's going to be much harder for your body to break it down. So it should be able to give life and substance and muscle to the body, right? If you're not going to properly swallow and chew the food, B'shinav with your mouth, with your teeth. It's not going to properly digest, and it's not going to be food to give you satisfaction if you don't properly digest your food properly. So what's that mean in Avodas Hashem, in our service of God? So too, It's not enough. The chewing is basically. So a person, if you just talk about the chachle einayim yayin, the idea that your eyes are reddened with love, building up the avraba, avas, abatanugim, you're never really analyzing yourself. You're kind of lost in the moment. But that's not enough. Yaakov tells Yehuda, you have to also chew things over. You have to break it down. You have to have awareness of everything that's happening within your reality. And therefore he says, this is an example. In order to properly digest, so to say, within the 248 limbs of the king, meaning to connect to the 248 mitzvahs, positive commandments. You should be a proper chariot to God and to the mitzvahs. That the mitzvahs become mamish part of you. You have to break it down. You have to have the teeth that that chews, separates the bad parts of the food from the good parts of the food. Because if you're going to just consume the food without chewing it, there's parts of the food that go to that go to waste, and parts of the food that go to build this, life and muscle, right? But so you have to break it down. What does this mean in avoda? Is that you have to break every action that you've done, dibur of every speech that you've said, machshavos of all your thoughts, and to check them. Is it just like I'm thrown into the pool of love, or in my life? What have I been doing, saying, thinking? L'daktek, and to check, like breaking down the food. L'fashresh behem, to examine. Li'ismimar dechushbana, and we know this, like we spoke many times, the idea of the healthy bitterness. Lishko kol drachav, to weigh l'falis magaloisav, like in a scales. V'nikra b'lashon haGemara medaktek b'matzav. This is what the Gemara says: a person who checks and is medaktek and is careful in their actions, because only by properly digesting and separating and recognizing your actions, being aware, will you properly have proper spiritual digestive system. The good things about your day, your actions, become substance to you. They give you strength. The things that are negative in your different experiences, and if it's all whole, it's all mixed. But when you break it down, you know what's the good parts and the bad parts. You have to push out. That shouldn't become who you are. Because when you have, with Alter Rebbe saying over here, you can have things, anger, covet, there's a lot of things that if you just digest something whole, then there's the whole food there, and then you have the bad parts. You have the ego, you have how your Torah mitzvahs feeds your ego. You have anger. All these things that come together is because you didn't properly know how to separate things. But when you chew it down, you take the good and healthy parts that become part of you, and the parts that are negative you throw out. So too, when you can't just have, I love God. Break it down. You have to find that the healthy parts of you love God, and it's not feeding the unhealthy parts of you. Because at the end of the day, you are who you are. You have your nefesh lekis, nefesh bahamas, you have your animal soul, you have your midos rois, your bad attributes. If you just take everything in whole, it's going to feed everything. So the idea is to have bir hamidos, to refine your character, your ava, your yiro, what you love, how you fear. Each person knows what they struggle with and what they have to deal with and and how they have to break down their energy source. And you have to use your mind, the scales of your mind, to know yourself, to have what's a healthy environment for you, what's a healthy situation for you. Kay said here, how can you reach that you're just having a proper, true love for Hashem? There's no psilas, there's no bad elements in there. And what does it mean to transform your darkness? What is your darkness that you're transforming? You have to know how to identify it. And the Alter Rebbe says it's not something that's casual. It comes from Yagia. It has to come from toiling in yourself to properly analyze. Because if you want to only take the good parts, and that should be the truth that's inside you, believe them yoines. Don't just, because if you're just going to take things in whole, it could be what you're experiencing is an imaginative situation. Dimyonis. And there's many different ways for those who are truly trying to seek an experience to be part of Hashem, to be one who's trying to become one with Hashem, to have it in a true way. You have to know yourself, and you have to know what energies are feeding what parts of yourself, know what you're feeling, if it's a true feeling, or if there's other parts in it that could be true, but there could be other parts in it, like if you don't break down the food. And you have to be checking and careful and toil within yourself to know what are the healthy experiences and what is really happening over here. What am I really feeling over here? And that whitens. Chalav is a white. So the red is a passion of love. But it could be mixed with some things. It's not enough. You have to break it down until there's a whitening as well. We know that one of the things of the milk is that the milk makes that the child who nurses from his mother or her mother, the limbs get stronger and grow. We know the importance. So too, when a person uses the chalav, the breaking it down, the whiteness, that when it's healthy, it properly grows your midos, your emotions for Hashem, your av and your yira, your love and your fear. And you should have proper av and yira. How do you have a healthy, proper, intellectual, clear, whitened love and fear? Is if you break it down, you take in the good parts. Let's skip the parentheses. This is what it means to sort of say wash it out in the milk. The milk washes out the emotions of the person. To change them to only have healthy, whitened, godly emotions. It shouldn't be mixed. And if you don't properly digest, you can't identify it. You think you're loving Hashem, you think you have Avos Yisrael, you think you have Avos Hashem. There's really agenda mixed in it. It's very hard. The honesty, having self-honesty to know, is this really love for Hashem? Is this really love for my fellow person? Or is there something else, an undercurrent of jealousy, hate, anger, who knows what? The whitening, mamish, makes you like another person. It's like whitens out where the wine kind of just lifts up the whole being. The wine breaks it. The wine is like the milk that comes through the chewing it down, breaks it down. The Alter Rebbe says now you become like a different person because your character has changed. It's not the experience, but it's your inner character, who you are. You're much more solid who you are. You can identify your emotions properly, know what they are. All your attributes, all your feelings are positive, meaning in a positive way. This is the whitening of the teeth. They're white, bright, by refining your attributes, refining your character. And this gets deeper and deeper and higher, because like in silver, right? If 99%, 99.9999, right? You can take out any kind of element of something that's not a positive, that's not holy, that's not godly. Until you reach the level where it's no longer a toil, it is who you are. Right away you get to the essence. And through the combination of the power of the love and the work of the teeth and the whitening of the milk, then you become a person who's lili, mamish, one person of a desire and an essence and a being with Hashem. Right, a beautiful Maamar. Thank you all for joining. Laila Tov, Shavua Tov. Take care.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Well.
Oops.